Hey guys, Crypto G in for another session of Frivolous-tax and sobering scripture. Today we are looking at an NLP based system with a godly twist. And I'm afraid this one's going to take more than 4 fucking minutes. So poke the algorithm, hit the like and subscribe before you drop your phone in disbelief. BDM, known as billion dollar mindset, or perhaps more accurately, blind delusional masochism, is a gift-based donation program that aims to offer a generational wealth plan by exploiting a loophole in the official gifting rules. John Austin, the CEO and founder of BDM, claims that it is not illegal to gift more than the land laws state if you use an unregulated asset like carrots. And his program will allow you to ultimately become a billionaire with the right mindset. Now, that's a shitload of beta-carotene, but I don't believe it is the orange pill that you seek. Imagine the logistics of distributing a pile of assets that big. They would rot out before you got your principal back, which is why carrots haven't been adopted as sound money. There's a different orange for that. So what is the right mindset? Well, I think we can all agree that a positive one is essential for successful outcome. But should it be one that hides the reality behind a godly hubris? Or one that extracts value from others in the network who are willing to donate in the hope that they will also receive donations if they recruit hard enough? This sounds an awful lot like a promise of return based on other people's work. It smells like a security offer to me.
Time for the Harry Hoorah!
Well, how about one that attempts to circumvent legal responsibilities inherent in the selling of products, memberships or subscriptions by simply labelling the transfer as a donation? At this point, I wonder why we would not just use one of the many registered charity portals who now accept carrots for donations, or try the pledge and GoFundMe options. Somebody there might actually need their teeth fixing. You'll have to watch the full heck stream to get that one. So it must be down to the incentives offered beyond that of normal gifting. An ROI of some sort, perhaps. Austin and his disciples offer many anecdotes and scriptures in a gentle but effective way, highlighting the 4 pillars, as they call them. All consistent with professional NLP tactics, utilising his 60 years of MLM experience, ex-ordained ship and nutritional knowledge to Aunt Sally the debunkers. That's the straw man for all the Yanks out there. Convincing others that this is a genuine opportunity to realise dreams. The worrying part is that it is only his dream. His and a handful of followers that learn how to replicate this informal fallacy. However, they benefit at the cost of others' greed and naivety, all under the cloak of generosity and faith. A stroke of genius, perhaps, if the goal is to justify sitting outside the reach of the regulators and claim immunity to all financial fair play laws. It is, though, in reality, going to catch up with all those involved. Most will lose their carrots and get nothing for it, other than many carrot sellers who have, as a result of the deception, turned red in the face and can see more clearly from all the B2C. I think it's important at this point to look at where and how the carrots move and understand some basics about tokenomics and crypto market valuation for those doing a deeper DD or using a 5Ts style approach to investing. Check out Nick Black for more information on that. I also think it is imperative to look at the history of the storyteller, CEO, and understand who the founder of BDM really is. Watch what people do, not what they say. John? But before I do a deeper dive on Austin's power play, I need to do some housekeeping. I'm not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for entertainment and educational purposes only. You must seek professional advice before making any investment in either the digital or the traditional space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure you do some research. Make sure you try and self-custody your assets. Make sure you don't listen to any YouTube influencer guide you in the quest for freedom and liberty. And remember, the information in this video is probably out of date by the time you've got to see it. So these poxy MLM crypto marketeers are like bloody mevbots on the Ethereum networks, extracting value every time a transaction is made by grabbing an early spot in the mempool queue and shotgunning the best floor in the MLM hotel. The penthouse, please, Jeeves! This value extraction, though, has to be outweighed by the effort you put in recruiting others, as there is no real revenue stream outside of the donation process, except of course a 20% cut for the tech team and the executives, but you don't get to benefit from that one. So to put my sharp sarcasm into perspective, I recently listened to a Zoom call featuring John Austin, the woman of God, and our unloved Admiral DDH, from the Avenger Patrol. Oh, and someone called Ion who believes IRS tax payments are voluntary.
When you hear about Christian people, run, don't walk away, run from.
Might be an idea to research frivolous tax arguments at irs.gov and not tell everyone that you haven't paid your taxes for the last 30 years after a junior numpty, who clearly hadn't received any training, told you so on the phone back in 1994. If not, I suggest you dig into the Baron David Ward affidavit defence or have Brandon Joe Williams on direct call. Now, it is my opinion that our Admiral DDH has a perception problem online, akin to the likes of Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. amongst many. Something unavoidable when you are on the event horizon of opinion. And what unfolded in this Zoom was a masterclass of MLM spin from a CEO that I had at this point never heard of, who claimed not only that gifting above the threshold wasn't illegal, but also denied that there was any pyramid structure or matrix in their compensation plan whatsoever.
No, it is not pyramid in structure at all. Not at all pyramid in structure. There is no pyramid here. There's no matrix whatsoever.
This is by far the most outrageous example of pure gaslighting that I have ever witnessed.
I've never heard that. I've never said that. I've never heard anybody
I
say
might have
that.
got
So
mixed
I
up.
couldn't speak to it. I think you're talking about another company, another plan, not
You
ours.
could be right.
Although at the time I didn't realise this was an unadulterated untruth. I had no idea about the specific architecture of their project at that point, and like the Admiral, by the end of the Zoom, I'd softened a little to the spin. My only significant issue, apart from the woman of God, of course, but that's another story for another time, Susie, was around their AML and KYC compliance, or lack of it. Because I am a total nerd and have seen too many scams in the ecosystem to touch anything now that could fundamentally be exposed to wire fraud or knicker laundering. There is also no indication on the website as to company structure or terms and conditions, and invitations are private. So, as you can imagine, when looking into the compensation model, I was shocked to see Austin et al. Presenting what was an unmistakable matrix-based plan. So shocked, in fact, that it made me doubt my own understanding of what an MLM matrix was, and go running off to my new AI assistant, Professor Pontague, for clarification. These pros will hoover you up if there's even a whisper of self-doubt. So, the Avengers went full detective mode. Agents BS and I started digging through emails, cross-references, social media and Telegram handles. Agent Bob picked up some cross-referenced emails linking some chap in New Orleans with a penchant for live strip cams. And Agent S, even at 40,000 feet, managed to pull out some exceptional intel. Turns out our boy Austin is no stranger to failed MLMs, token projects and lawsuits. He's had his hand in everything from next gen to new gen, jumping from dead projects to new scams. And the Wyoming Attorney General even hit him with a lawsuit in June 2020 for $1.5 million. Shocking, but not surprising. Unfortunately, as yet, there is no more intel on the outcome of this case, but it does explain his sidestep into crypto MLMs off the back of a ban on his selling of supplements. So after years of pushing infinity downline schemes and extracting value from his brethren each and every time from that penthouse suite, Austin's real skill appears to be in strawman tactics and hollow hope, which he has spent a lifetime perfecting.
So it's infinity width. Everybody that you refer is going to go on your first level to infinity width, and then you're getting paid to infinity depth on everything but number one.
Infinite width, infinite depth, forever? Wow, such a bold but blatantly ludicrous claim. That doesn't seem to put off those with an appetite for self-gain or a corrupted moral compass. Yet people eat it up, despite not even understanding the compensation models they're buying into.
Free.
Good morning, John, and how you guys doing today? This is CJ from Waukegan.
Well, hello, CJ.
Man, John, I tell you, man, you once again have exceeded my expectations. You know, we've been just kind of being tickled about this and promised about this and that next, and you know, I didn't really know what to expect. But after you laid this out today, man, I've just blew my mind. And I'm sure a lot of other people as well. And I'm so thankful for your commitment to us and our I'm be honest with you, I really don't fully understand the plan from your explanation, but I don't care. I'm gonna go.
That's the beauty of it, CJ. You don't have to understand it to make
I know. I'm gonna go ahead and look at it later on and study it a little bit. It might take me a week to figure it out because I'm not as smart as most people on the line.
Which is ironic given the biblical leveraging employed. Now, if you managed John chapter 1, you get to Tracy chapter 11 telling us we reap more than we sow, and this is the most dynamic, most powerful compensation model he has seen in his 30 years in this industry.
The law says we reap what we sow. We've got to sow to reap, but when we reap more than what we sow. Now, why is there such a sense of urgency? Because right now, Flair is about 2 cents, but it won't be 2 cents forever. If the pundits are right, and actually they don't even have to be right, they can be really, really, really wrong. But if Flair goes to $1 or $2 and you're sitting on 5 to 10 million Flair, it goes to $4 and you're sitting on 5 to 10 million Flair. So look at this. By the way, Flair went down from 2 cents down to 1.5 cents as the overall crypto market did a little correction. But I want you to imagine that you got a $16,000 payout. Let's say you were in a position where you didn't have to convert that into usable cash, and then Flair goes up to $1. That's $1 million in value.
Flair goes up to $2. That's $2 million in value. Flair goes up to $10. That's $10 million in value.
This is one of the reasons I'm saying this is the most dynamic, most powerful compensation model I have seen in my 30 years in this industry after having made millions in this industry.
A little correction, eh? Well, that's a 26% drop, T. But more experienced investors are used to seeing such high levels of volatility. In fact, we actually seek this out, and speculative anxieties caused through FUD and FOMO created by influencers like Mr. Silver shouldn't impact your decisions. They usually have an underlying agenda and blind gambler's mindset, or BGM, time to get a room, he thinks. Pro tip, don't just rush into something before understanding enough about the asset's ecosystem. Flare is indeed an interesting smart contract DeFi platform built on top of the XRP ledger and has registration at Companies House in the UK. But Flare is a separate entity and has no affiliation with BDM other than providing an open source base for anyone to build on, good or bad. You, for example, could use the Flare SDK and deploy a contract. So don't be fooled by the association tactic they use to sell an unrelated donation plan. We saw this with Aave in the Boomerang scam. I mean, you could just go buy a Flare token from a central exchange or self-custody it if you believed its price will rocket up. However, just pause for a moment and think. The current market valuation seems pretty high to me, with a market cap of 680 million and a fully diluted valuation of 1.5 billion. This difference is due to there being less than half of the 102.5 billion tokens actively in circulation currently. That means that the coin's value is actually closer to 0.007 in real terms. Any upside you see will need to offset the 5% inflation strategy that this protocol follows. And although there is a governance system in place, it does seem open to overlord attack. So one last synaptic push before I dive too deep and you lose the will to listen. What do you think the market cap will look like if the Flare token was at the $4 price Tracy tempts you with? Well, it would have to increase by $187 billion in real terms, which takes it into the realms of Johnson & Johnson and Visa. And the FDV would be up there with Microsoft and Amazon. Unrealistic in any short-term assessment, and don't even bother to think that it will reach $4,000 in any time frame. Flare have a lot of work to be done in an extremely competitive market, highlighted when one looks at their ledger on the FlareScan Explorer. It seems we have seen a similar block framework before, but that's definitely a story for another time. So don't forget to flick that subscribe button if you want to catch that one, or you just feel like supporting the effort I've made to inject reason and balance into the battle between evil versus good. Don't get sucked in by the hype, brothers and sisters. Do your homework before throwing your carrots into the wind, or you'll end up with nothing but rotten piles and an empty wallet. Stay safe out there. Crypto G out.